Hello viewers. So today let's talk about stress, a commonly used word by most youngsters. But don't worry, I'm not talking about tensions and anxiety and stress. I've come to reduce the stress by teaching you how the English language uses stress in a simple way so that you understand the nature of stress in English. So the smallest distinctive unit of speech in a language is called a phoneme. For example, if we take a word pin, p is the phoneme, p, p. If we take the word bed, then b, is the phoneme. So it's the smallest unit. Then we move on to the next higher unit of speech, which has more than one phoneme. It's called a syllable. Now, syllables also are made up of vowels and consonant sounds, and depending on the effort that is required to produce them, we divide them into monosyllabic, disyllabic, trisyllabic, or multisyllabic, we can call them. So there are different combinations and permutations of syllables which make them small or big. So mono is 1, bi is 2, tri is 3. So I'll just give you an example of the word tea, coffee, camera. So tea is a monosyllabic word. In one breath we can speak it, tea. Coffee is disyllabic. Camera is trisyllabic. Now, depending on these syllable sounds, we will now describe what stress is. Now, stress is an important feature of spoken English, and clarity in the language depends to a large extent on the speaker's ability to use the English stress system. Stress is a means of making a syllable or word appear more prominent to others, while there are others which are unstressed, and so less stress is given on them. So there are 3 signals of stress in English. That's loudness, which is the greater breath force which is required to produce the sound of a word, then length of the vowel, and the pitch change. So stress is a meaningful feature at the levels of both word and sentence. So there are basically 2 types of stress, word stress and sentence stress, and that keeps changing according to the rules and patterns. So this is phonetic transcript. So phonetics is the study of the speech sounds that the human vocal tract can produce. So all the words that we produce, the sounds that come out, come under the study of phonetics. So this is phonetic transcription. The word is written in the transcript language, that is English. This is pronunciation, and this is teaching. So that's how we write phonetically the words so that we are able to pronounce them in the correct way. Clarity in speech is very important. Now moving on to word stress. Stress depends chiefly on the speaker's ability to make certain syllables more noticeable than others. A syllable which stands out or is more prominent is said to be stressed, and there are 2 types of stress, primary and secondary. So the one which receives more stress is called primary stress, and the one which receives less stress is called the secondary stress. And there are vertical lines which are known as stress markers, which we place at the right place to show whether the stress is on the first syllable or second or third or where. So in English language, words can have as many as 8 syllables. There are long words. So words with varying numbers of syllables have different stress patterns. There are some rules which govern the pattern. So we will once again have a look at stressed and unstressed syllables. The syllable in a word which receives stress is called called stressed syllable. All others are known as unstressed syllables. Now, there is something called a stress shift. Now, due to the function of the words in a sentence or in a word, the stress shifts. So, it's called a functional shift of stress based on the function of the word. So, we have many words, as you know, the parts of speech. So, the number of words of 2 syllables in which accentual pattern is there depends on whether the word is used as a noun, an adjective, or a verb. When the word is used as a noun or an adjective, the stress is on the first syllable. When it is used as a verb, the stress is on the second syllable. So let's have a look at the examples. So absent and absent, object and object. Here we are talking about a thing, an object, and here we are objecting to certain thing. So that's a verb. So that's how the stress is. Now, rules of stress shift. So there are certain rules. We'll have a look at them. The first is in disyllabic words with weak prefixes, the stress is on the root. So this here is a weak prefix, so above we say. This also is weak, so become. Then second one, in disyllabic nouns or adjectives, the first syllable is stressed, like campus, factor. Then third one, in disyllabic words, the second syllable is stressed. So perform, refuse. In many disyllabic words, the stress pattern shifts according to the usage of that word as a noun or a verb. So nouns and verbs. So advent and advent, digest and digest. So like that we stress words to make them clear to the readers or listeners what we're talking about. Now the fourth one is if a compound word is a noun or a combination of a noun plus noun or an adjective and noun, the stress is on the first part. For example, glass house, palm top. Similarly, in the fifth rule, if a compound verb is an adjective or a combination of adjective and past participle, the last part is stressed. For example, far-sighted, short-tempered. So the second syllable or the last part is stressed here. Next, English is a rhythmic language. So rhythm is the periodic repetition which is a regular patterned recurrence. Like in music we have beats and they produce a rhythm in the songs. So in speech also rhythm refers to the recurrence of certain patterns of sound. Rhythms are distinguished roughly into two types, syllabic time rhythm and stress time rhythm. Most Indian languages are mostly syllable timed because the time taken to move from one stressed syllable to the other in proportion to the number of unstressed syllables is in proportion. In English, it is said to have a stressed time rhythm. So that is the difference between English and other Indian languages that we use. Then the nouns, main verbs, adjectives, adverbs and demonstrative pronouns contribute to the content of utterances. They are called content words. They contribute to the main content, the main meaning. The other which are not stressed are spoken quickly and they are called structure words. They are personal pronouns, auxiliary verbs, articles, conjunctions, prepositions. They just are there to help. As helping verbs, we can just see auxiliary verbs. It has been generalized that in connected speech, the content words are generally stressed and the structure words are generally unstressed. So, what is this life if full of care? We have no time to stand and stare. John wants to be an actor. So he wants to live in Hollywood. So the stress comes on the content words and not on these functional structure words. So those are examples of rhythm. And so have a rhythmic learning of English. Thank you.